Hey, Pat, I heard the podcast, but I'm curious. Since then, have you went to Vance and said, "Put me on Diggs"?
You guys have to wait and see what happens Sunday.
Hey, Patrick. Obviously, the chance to get Devon back and Adam to Marcus, and with the guys you had, it'll help with the pass rush. But I'm curious when you're talking about going up against a guy like Josh Allen, or even watching your own team with Kyler, and what it's like for a defensive back to know that the pass rush needs to get the pressure there to kind of help you do your job, but knowing that these guys can make life hell for those pass rushers. And what's that like for you?
The pass rush is going to be fairly important this week. It's important every week. You always want to get to the quarterback to disrupt the timing, but this week is definitely going to be vital for us because you got a big, strong quarterback that's also mobile and that also has a very, very strong arm. A guy that can throw the ball when his legs are captured or wrapped up. Is a very, very special talent. So pass rush is going to be very, very important for us to make sure that we clog up those rush lanes for him because he do run the ball in the red zone, and on third down if it's not there, he do looks to scramble a little bit. So our hands are definitely full, but we're happy that to get to be back at our full strength. Getting Murph back, getting Dre back, DK. Now we getting our guys back, and now we feel like we're right where we need to be to go coming into this game healthy and to compete and try to win this game the best way we can.
Hey Pat, what's it like just the challenge for you guys going against that receiving core for the Bills that they have guys who are good at different things and do different things?
This is probably the first team that truly gives you a four wide look. Is considered as a 10 personnel. So those guys have a lot of weapons. Josh trusts them. Like you said, they have a little bit of, they can do a little bit of everything. You got McKenzie, who's a jet guy. You got John Brown, who's down the field. You got Diz that can do a little bit of everything. You still got Andre Roberts out there, Beasley. So those guys it's probably going to be the best receiving core that we played against all year from top to bottom. So we have to make sure that we continue to prepare the best that we can to so that it carries over to the game on Sunday because, like I said, this is a very, very explosive group, and we definitely have our hands full coming Sunday.
Next up, Mike, Kyle, and Catherine.
Patrick, they are the number one team running 10 personnel. Now, in training camp, you're able to go against that. How can that help you carry over when you play the Bills on Sunday?
I think it definitely can help us out a lot because, like you said, Mike, we face that type of offense throughout training camp and whenever we have good on good segments and throughout practice. So I believe our personnel fits perfectly against this 10 personnel that these guys are going to give us here Sunday. Skill on skill. 9 times out of 10 when teams run 10 personnel, they're looking for mismatches, and I think we match up very, very well against that 10 personnel. So we just have to make sure that we dial into our keys, understand what's coming, take a picture of the formations, and if we're able to do that, we'll understand what's coming at us. But it starts in practice and it starts with your preparation. So if we prepare like this is a championship game and every guy's dialed in and honed in and focused on their assignment, this game can be, pretty significant for us as far as an execution standpoint. So, it should be fun. Like I said, we had the opportunity to see this 10 personnel throughout camp and throughout these good on good segments. So I think we match up well with it. Can't wait to see what happens Sunday because we definitely need a bounce back game for sure.
Pat, it seems like a lot of people think this game is going to be pretty competitive, and you guys have played 4 games that were decided by 4 points or less and split those. I'm just wondering, in your experience, how important winning these type of games are when you look back at the end of the season, and how much it can affect the standings when you only play 16 games.
Well, winning close games, it builds confidence. It builds belief that you can do it. Not saying that we're shying away from that belief or that confidence that we can win close games, but it just gives you an extra boost, when you are able to pull out those games because that's what you work so hard on in the off season. Working on those scenarios, making sure that we are at our best in those scenarios because those are very, very important situations. Like last week, giving up those 3 points before halftime. Statistic stat says if a team scores before halftime, they have like a 82% chance of winning. And we lost by 3 points, and they end up going up by 3 points, but right before halftime. So those points are very, very vital. So we have to make sure that we're very, very honed in on those certain situations that pops up, because, like you said, it can come back and haunt us later on in the game, later on in the season. But if you're able to capture those moments and able to go out there and execute the game plan, your assignment the best you can, then now when you come up in that situation again, be like, oh, we've been here before. We want this situation before. So you go in that situation more confident.
Patrick, not to get too far ahead, but you guys obviously have this game and then Seattle on the road on a short week. So what is this stretch of the schedule like for you guys, having, two of the stronger teams back to back with a little less time to prepare?
Every game is a playoff game, especially in the second half of the season. This is the part of the season where you start to separate the contenders and the pretenders. And we want to be a contender. And 9 times out of 10, the schedule get harder in the back half of it. So every game is a playoff game for us. Every game is very, very important. We feel that we let 2 slip away, that we had really good opportunities of winning. Now we can't let no game slip away. Every game counts now. We have an 8-game season, and no game after that is promised to us. So we got to make sure that we put our best foot forward each and every game we step out on the field, because we don't know after, when's the last game? January 1st? 3rd? So after January 3rd, we don't know what the hell is going to happen after that. So these next 8 games, we got to play ball to the wall. Can't hold nothing back. Leave it all on the field, because, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen after January 3rd. We hope to be in the playoffs, but if we start games the way we did the last 2 weeks, and we're not winning those certain situations like we did the last couple of weeks, we're gonna be right. We're gonna be home like other 16 teams. So we have to make sure we're dialed in for these last 8 games, because these 8 games are very, very important. You got division opponents, conference opponents, and we have to win those games.
All right, we'll wrap it up with the final 3 from Bob, Howard, and Kyle.
Hey, Pat, there were, throughout the years, there were games where, it almost looked like you were bored because you never got the ball thrown your way. But when you go up against top-notch receivers, you seem to elevate your game, and I know you relish those moments. So is this going to be one of those moments, do you think?
If I have the opportunity to go up against Diggs, it's definitely going to be one of those moments, because, right now Diggs is statistically, the number 1 receiver in the league, having 800-some-odd yards. Josh trusts him. He's getting like 12 targets a game, so I know if I'm on him, I'm going to get my fair share of passes. Me and Diggs had a long history of going up against each other. Diggs is so special, just very, very shifty, very, very crafty at the line of scrimmage, and also into his routes. So he loved to do these little hesitation moves to make it seem like to get the receiver, get the DB feet to stop so he can gain more yardage on him. So he's very, very crafty. You have to make sure that you keep your eyes low on him. He's a guy that fights for the ball when the ball is in the air. A very, very talented receiver. I can't say enough about him, and this year is definitely showing that. Ever since he's been in the league, he's been doing nothing but great things. So what a tremendous player, having an all-pro year so far throughout the season. Hopefully we can slow him down Sunday, because we know we don't need him going, because if they get him going, there's a good opportunity they're going to have a good opportunity to win in the ball game. So we have to do a good job on 14 for Buffalo here come Sunday.
Patrick, points and offensive touchdowns are being produced at a record rate in the NFL. Passer rating average is in the mid-90s, completion percentage mid-60s. Could you just speak just generally just how tough it is to play defense in this offensive-minded league?
This is the offensive league anyway. We're the bad guys. So, everything tends to go our way, tend to go the offensive way, especially when it's like when you're guarding someone. So I would like to make a proposal to the league, because the ref told me last week on that pass interference call that I got, he said I was holding him. I was like, I didn't touch him. Like, what do you mean I got a pass interference? He said, well, from my angle, it looks like you was engaged with him. I'm like, what do you mean from your angle? You can't even see the receiver because you were right behind me. So what I'm proposing to the league, we need more refs on the field to officiate the games if the back judge can't see the receiver. So now the DB is at a disadvantage. He's not refereeing the game. I almost say he's not refereeing the game properly. He's just not seeing the whole game. So we need more eyes to help these guys, because I watched that play 30 times. And I was in perfect coverage. I never touched, I never poked, I never did anything like that, because I take personal PIs very, very personally, especially if I know I did not have a PI. So we need more eyes on the field, Mr. Goodell, to get these games officiated better, because receivers get away with so much. They push off every route. The ref can never see it because the defender is blocking him. So if we want the game officiated to go evenly both ways, let's put more eyes on the field so the game can be officiated the correct way. So defensive guys won't be scared, to go out there and play aggressive or play a certain technique, because, the guys behind us don't have the proper view to see what's going on. But I think that has to go back to your original point. I know I kind of got off track, but these quarterbacks are getting better and better each and every year. As far as putting the ball in placements, offense is getting more innovative each and every year. And as defenses, we have to make sure, we just have to. I mean, honestly, I don't even know, Howie, because this game is so funny right now, as far as the concepts that we're getting, the amount of time that quarterbacks are having now to throw the ball. It's just extremely difficult for DBs right now to make plays, But at the end of the day, we have to continue to stay honed in on your technique and do the best you can to make plays when they come your way. Sorry, I gave you an earful right there, but as you can tell, I was kind of heated.
I'm gonna say it's kind of tough to follow, Pat, but you just looking maybe more positively, the fact that you guys are in the playoff hunt now, just from a personal perspective, I'm sure it feels good to be here as opposed to the last few years when it wasn't really happening in the second half of the season. What's it like to know that you're playing meaningful games down the stretch?
Like I said, Kyle, earlier, every game counts now. If we're not the number one seed 9 times out of 10, we're going to be on the road. So every game matters. Every game is a playoff game, because the way you get prepared for that moment is doing it right now. And like I said, we got 8 games, 4 on the road, 4 home. We got to make the best of those. We got some quality opponents on our schedule, where we got 5 division games, I believe. And 3 non-conference games. Non-division games. So, obviously you want to win our division first, win those games, and everything else to take care of itself. But it's a blessing to be in the position that we are in right now. We're very confident, especially coming off last year. The way we finished off the year, we felt like we had something going. We're going in the right direction. And the guys feel that. The guys believe that, So it's going to be a fun 8-game season, and we'll see what happens after that. But guys are extremely dialed in. Guys are extremely focused and ready to relish this moment.